Hi there, so I'm reviewing this lovely AEG fridge for you. I was sent it by Appliance Online. It's model S53630CSX2, but you'll probably already know that from the description, which is why you've hopped through to this video. So it's a fridge freezer, which I'm delighted with because beforehand we had separates, only because we used to have them under the counter, and now we reorganised the kitchen so that we can have one whole unit. So it's a 60-40 mix, which means 60% in favour of the fridge, and that suits us down to the ground because we don't eat frozen food that often. So if you open it, in terms of glass shelves, it's only got two, which is this one and this one, but I consider it to be three because you've obviously got the bottom one too. Now that's where you would have fresh meat. So I've got my raw sausages and my raw beef burgers down there. And I've just got the eggs here to remind me to tell you that I've put them away in that handy little place there, which is where you can put like butter and cheese. I've only got so much butter because I plan on making cupcakes. I've stacked the Actimel too high just to give you an idea of how tall that top shelf is. Now it stays that tall because you see these adjustable brackets here? Well, that means that you can move that shelf down and you can move this shelf up, but as you can see there isn't another bracket above that one, which effectively means that that top shelf always remains that high, which again is why I've put the Actimels too high, just to give you a concept of how deep that top shelf is. I don't have any bottles at the moment because we're not drinking a lot of soft drinks with it being winter, but once we have lots of soft drinks in, that metal rack is meant to be for bottles. And then I've just sort of put things like this to give you a concept of how deep the shelves are. Aaron absolutely loves chilled pasta. And then some sausage rolls there. I know you shouldn't mix cooked meat and raw meat, but they are, you know, apart from each other. What I really particularly love about this fridge is how huge these crisper shelves are. They're double the depth of our old one, plus our old one was just one shelf that was the width of the fridge, whereas this is two. They're good and deep. I mean, look, there's about 15 carrots there and still space for a huge watermelon at the back. Now, don't think that this is the sort of fridge that won't frost up, because it will, and I'll show you. You can see the ice at the back, and what they do is they give you this, if you can take the camera back a bit, yeah, they give you this thing like you would scrape your windscreen with, and you just scrape it off. Now what I can tell you is it doesn't accumulate that often. What causes it to accumulate is how often you open the door, how full your fridge is. But just to give you some idea that I don't have the setting too high, if you come here to the dial, you'll see that it can go right the way up to 6, and I've only got it set on 3. And I've had it set consistently on 3 since the day I got it, and I got it about 7 days ago. We're now Sunday night and I got it 7 o'clock on Monday morning. But yeah, it ices up at the back and it's no problem to scrape it off. And I just love how roomy it is, to be honest. If I take you to the door, these clear shelves, they slot out, and I love that compared to the old fridge, because the old fridge, the plastic of the door moulded itself into shelves, which means they couldn't pop out and be cleaned. I've already cleaned this bottom one this week and I just adore it. It's so solid, and even the white moulded bit is solid too. You can tell it's an expensive bit of kit because everything in it is of superior quality. So considering you might have your fridge for 15 years or longer, I think it's worth paying out. What this fridge has is a great deal of volume in terms of space. I used to have an issue with the old one where I wouldn't have enough room for sauces, but this door is so deep, they're all there. Now when you look at pictures of this fridge freezer on the internet, you might think it's odd that you don't have a shelf here at the bottom, but I can tell you, you very, very soon get used to that. The reason there isn't one at the bottom of the door is obviously because that shelf sits on top of the crisper, so you can't have one any lower than that. It might look a little bit odd in photos on the internet, but once the fridge is in your possession, you get used to that very, very fast. This is the freezer down here, and it's 3 drawers, and they're all lovely and roomy. They're all the sort of drawers that pull out, so none of them are drawers where you just, you know, pull the flap down. They're all proper drawers that pull out, and can be, you know, washed and defrosted and whatever. So plenty of room for fish fingers, ice lollies, vegetables. This middle one is called the maxi box because it's the deepest and the biggest. And what really shows what a high spec fridge freezer this is, if you lift them out completely, you will see that it's a proper glass shelf that divides each bucket, and it says on each shelf safety glass. Now with my last freezer it was just heavy duty tin foil that divided each shelf, so I absolutely love the high spec on this. So I would say if you're a bit apprehensive about the amount you're spending, you are getting value for money. And the other thing, if you want to convince your other half that it's worth paying out, this is a AAA, or how do you call it, A star star star. That's its energy rating. And I think I read somewhere that you get your money back within 12 years in terms of your savings on energy, because this is an A star 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 energy rated fridge freezer. It's got a lovely little leaflet with the instructions where it tells you all the noises that it makes. It can zzz or click or hiss or brr or blub. No, sorry, yeah, blub or crack. What I can tell you is, although it's giving you explanations for all those noises, it's very, very silent. Can't hear a thing. With my old fridge and freezer, which like I said before were separates, they used to regularly make gurgling noises, and I guess if it was completely quiet, maybe this one occasionally does too, but I'm very happy with its noise level. I don't really hear it at all. We've got a bit of bone of contention at the moment. My husband kind of thinks that I've defaced the fridge with all these fridge magnets. So what would you do, listener, reader, watcher? Would you put fridge magnets on your brand new fridge or not?
Absolutely not. This is a fantastic unit. It need not have any accessories emblazoned on it. It's perfectly good with its silver sheen.
It did look absolutely decent stuff to move over from fridge to fridge, even though we haven't been food shopping in, is it a week or just over a week? That's all just tablets. I don't approve of Calpol, so that's just an old bottle. I prefer, I haven't got any of it in at the moment, but anyway, yeah, finally a place to put all my sauces. And then, yeah, lots of chilled pasta because Aaron loves it. Ham and cheese because he's always eating ham and cheese sandwiches. Olive oil because we're normally dairy free. The Anchor butter is just because I've been making cupcakes recently. Actually, I need to eat that yogurt. But yeah, lovely, decent fridge. Now with proper, oh, if you could see how big these are, proper salad trays, crisping trays or whatever they're called, but oh my god, they're enormous. And the shelf above them is so big that the stuff will never be forgotten again. I'm always throwing stuff away from this tray in my old fridge, but that won't happen anymore because this is just too gorgeous to ruin. And I've got some apple juice chilling at the back because Aaron will want one after school. First day back at school today because he had an inset day yesterday. Nothing in there yet because we haven't been food shopping yet, but so really it's just medicine and sauces and a few bits. But all the fridge magnets are on. All my favourites. Absolutely love that one. But yeah. No! We're going food shopping tomorrow and I'll make this fridge look nice then for the proper review. But I just wanted to say to you, because the shelves are so deep, you can literally put a huge bowl in. Obviously it's going to get covered or finished or whatever, but I just wanted it, you know, out of the air. You can even put a saucepan in because each shelf is so deep. But what I can't wait to fill up, oh, this little pest is in my way. What I can't wait to fill up is these bottom two. Look how incredibly deep they are. I mean, all the way back there. And then 3 decent shelves on the door as well, with one of those buttery type shelves on the top. God, this little minx really wants to get in this video, doesn't he? But yeah, it's a lovely deep fridge, and I committed a crime against humanity by putting fridge magnets on the side of it. This is the bottom shelf of the door, and I'm going to take it out because no, this is the bottom shelf on the door. I'm going to take it out because it's got a few marks on it, and I'm quite precious about my new fridge. So So the shelf on the fridge door is back on, and as you can see it is spotless now. When it was fuller I had to take this divider out because I had 2 milks in there, and with all my sauces I could only fit the 2 milks if I took this divider out, but it pops in and out very easily. Just now, taking this shelf out to clean it, you have to take the left and the right out exactly simultaneously, otherwise you hear a cracking noise, and obviously I don't want any damage to my new fridge. And the exact same actually when you're putting it back in, I had to put the 2 sides in at exactly the same time. But yeah, absolutely loving the fridge, and it's a godsend after what we had before. So I've emptied the top shelf to show you what happens with this fridge. It's only at number 3, and yet this ice happens at the back, but they supply you with this scrapey thing with the fridge. Anyway, very easy to scrape the ice off, and then what I find is it falls onto this top shelf, so then I just bring it to the front and give it a little wipe. But that ice doesn't even happen every day. It totally depends on how much you open and close the fridge, how full it is. It depends on so many things. But I don't obviously need to have the setting high because we're still in winter. It's, you know, still cold enough that we've got the heating on. It's still February. Actually, today's the first day of March. But no doubt when it gets hot, I will have to raise that, and ice will be a thing of the past when we're in summer. But the ice doesn't bother me, and it's only over a thin layer. And because my fridge is brand new, I'm obsessed with keeping it nice, so I do scrape it. I only have to do it. I've had the fridge a week and I've only had to do it about twice, but like I say, it doesn't appear every day. It just totally depends on what's going on. Oh, Aaron, be quiet. I've just noticed another interesting thing. Even though you've got these grooves all down the side, which means you can put the shelves wherever you want.
Pasta.
Okay, Baba. That top one is there, and there isn't another one, which means that top shelf remains as deep as it is. And just to put in perspective how deep it is, it's not tall enough for a can of cream, but it is tall enough for a jar of pesto with all that to go. It's tall enough for this dressing. So it's quite cool because with my old fridge everything had to be lying down, so it's cool that that top shelf is deep enough because you've got a lot more storage. If you hold on, Aaron, you've got a lot more storage if you had things standing up, if you can imagine. So yeah, that top shelf is deep enough that things can stand up, and like look, 4 deep, and it could even go back a little bit further. So it's a very deep and very tall shelf. Aaron, be quiet, honestly. So I'm loving the fridge so far. I've taken out all the shelves to wash them, because if I do give this fridge to someone or sell it or give it away or whatever, I want it to be clean. So like I said before, I've already done the door. Just wanted to say I'm about to pop out, so I've put a tea towel here because obviously the back of the fridge is all frosty. I've put a tea towel here so that it can drip onto it without damaging my wooden floor while I'm out. But then I had the idea that maybe that whole chunk would just pop off and then I don't have to panic about it defrosting while I'm out. So all I did is put a knife behind it and ta-da! The whole piece just comes away. So that's a really good tip if you don't want the drama of defrosting. So I've just arranged to have my fridge, which I've cleaned thoroughly. Yeah, my fridge and my freezer, I've just arranged to have them collected on Thursday by a charity. And I'm really, really proud of myself because it seems silly to sell them for £10 each or £20 each or £30, £40 each, whatever. I'm having them both collected by a charity on Thursday, and it's a charity that helps people in crisis locally, so it just feels good. But look at the state of it. I've cleaned the fridge so it's ready for their collection Thursday, even though we're only on Tuesday now, but now I'm about to defrost the freezer. That shelf is fine, that one is a bit mental, and that one I can't even get the bucket drawer out. But yeah, I've just realised that the fourth drawer is really small compared to the other two because because there's some sort of wall at the back, which is obviously where the engine is, because look, that's half the depth of those two. But whereas these shelves are like tinfoil, literally, oh, it's a bit harder than tinfoil, but yeah, and they bend because of that. The ones in my new AEG fridge freezer, the shelves are actually, oh, I've put some things in already, but if you take a drawer out, the shelves underneath it are actually glass. So what's supporting each of those shelves is a shelf of glass, so it's real quality now compared to what we had before. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it.